Well, joining us now is Martina Hennessy, Managing Director of the online mortgage platform Doddl. Martina, you're very welcome.
Thank you.
So we've seen this rise in the number of people who are considering getting out of cities and moving to rural areas. Have you seen a rise in the number of people applying for mortgages to do that?
Really, people are waiting to see what their employer's position is in relation to their strategy, in relation to remote working. So the inquiries are still coming in, and I would expect to see, as these policies are more established, that people will be looking to make more long-term, larger moves when they have the comfort of knowing that their employment is stable in doing so.
And of course, then getting the mortgage becomes the question. And I wonder, when it comes to people who've been on pandemic supports, what is the situation for them in terms of getting a mortgage approved?
So somebody who's been on a support, it means if they're on EWSS in particular, it means that a portion of their salary is being paid by the state and not by their employer. So from a lending perspective, the banks will want to see, what is the risk? Is there a risk there that when the subsidies are withdrawn, and expected to be the end of June as it stands now, whether the employer is going to be able to maintain that salary for that individual going forward?
If you are in receipt of the PUP payment, is it worth applying for a mortgage at the moment?
No, unfortunately, you would not be able to apply if you're on the PUP payment unless you're back in employment and on your employer's payroll once again. And if you're in the same employment as you were previously, your income hasn't changed. So effectively, the reason you were on the PUP was because of the restrictions, and you're back to normal course employment, then you can absolutely apply for a mortgage. And we've been through so many restrictions and lockdowns that, the lenders are at a point now where they have a lot more comfort. The vaccine, is being rolled out. We have a better line of sight as to what might happen, even though there is still great uncertainty.
As the economy fully reopens, people will be coming off some of these government supports. But what can they expect from the banks if they're interested in applying for a mortgage?
Yes, so there's still many businesses which are continuing to open. We've seen 30,000 people come off PUP this week, but there's still so many people that their incomes are being supported. So the banks are going to be very, very conscious of that. So what I would always say to an applicant is, when you're making your application and when you're, understand what the lenders want to see. So again, their core criteria is sustainability of income. How can they deem that the income that they're using for the assessment for the mortgage application is deemed to be sustainable long-term or even medium term? And the uncertainty over the last year has been difficult.
An IBEX survey published yesterday found that a majority of younger people would consider moving to a rural location for housing and quality of life reasons. If they can't get a mortgage in certain rural areas because of the criteria or the job that they have, it will really undermine the potential for rural Ireland post-COVID, won't it?
Absolutely. And I suppose, again, it is to look at, again, income. So income, your income pays your mortgage. So you have to look at the sustainability of the income from the employment that you're in. So the lenders will always look at the employment that you have now. If they're basing their underwriting policy on the income that's in place now, they can't speculate as to, well, if you did move, you may get a new role, or your cost of living is lower. They have to take it at a point in time. And that's why it's so important, if you're planning to make a mortgage application, that you understand what the policy is of your employer in relation to remote working or hybrid type work positions. But there certainly is a demand from people, especially now that the market has opened, and we can see that the supply is so short, and which is resulting in, I suppose, a position where prices are increasing, and not everybody can afford to live in the city centre, unfortunately, or urban areas.
And Vali, you've done it, haven't you? You moved from Dublin to Tipperary.
I'm a test case,
yeah. With four young children. How have you
absolutely. So, it was a big decision. Whether you're a single person moving as a family, you're moving, you're making the most of where you are. You'll still have a work life. You'll still have a family life. And for us, it's worked out really well.
And there's all that space, Martina.
There's all that space to hide. Yeah.
I'll echo that. Thank you very much for joining us on the programme.